Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your NVIDIA report. That is your daily NVIDIA report for Thursday, July 24th, 2025. Let's take a look at the chart. Start with the big picture. It was 5 weeks ago tomorrow that we settled above the 149.87 one-year channel top. This is a weekly chart, by the way, anticipating the 176.78 2.5-year channel top as a 2 to 3 month or sooner objective. We mentioned how it could take as little as 3 to 5 weeks, and we're 5 weeks into it right now. It's worth noting that last week while we did not push into the 1% zone, which is the beginning of your profit-taking area and your short sale area, if that's something you're inclined to do. We missed it by only 12 or 13 ticks, so it was very close. And so I've been mentioning how, the fact that we haven't tested it, but we came very close. You must respect this market's tendency, perhaps, for bearish rotation now. But, it's not over. I mean, we can continue higher. And in fact, and what I mean by that, I'm talking today. If we happen to push through 171.39, now this is the daily chart. If we happen to push or open above Tuesday's high, which is the move low so far, that would also be a push above the high of the low from last week. And that could actually yield the 176.90 formation, which is the same exact channel top on the daily chart that we find at 176.78 on the weekly. On the way up, 175.02. That is the 1% zone, and that is the beginning of the area that if you've been long for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, this is an area to at least take some profits. Now, I don't necessarily think you need to take all profits because we are in this obviously relentless bull move. 176.78 is the significant price ceiling along the way, so that from my perspective may actually play spoiler on this rally and send this market south back into the upper 140s over the next couple of months, even lower perhaps as we move into later year. So that I think is what's possible below 176.78, but you never know exactly how this will play out. It is a bull trend after all off that April low, and if we happen to close this week, that is tomorrow, at 178.55 or higher, which is on the opposite side of 176.78, the 1% threshold above 176.78. So in terms of clarifying significant bullish continuation through the rest of the third quarter and into later year, it would be a weekly settlement tomorrow at 178.55 or higher, which then would set up, I'm going to call this a 2 to 3 month rally to 219.64. That is a full swing to the upside, taking that January previous all-time high, subtracting the April low, and kind of flipping it on its head. A minus B plus A is 219.64. In that area, 176.78 in reach. I don't know about today, but I will say that if we close today above 171.39, we're likely to push into this zone tomorrow, and that would be a significant zone of resistance, sellable resistance. If you have no position on whatsoever and you're comfortable playing the short side, that 176.90 or 176.78 formation on the weekly chart is your level to sell. And if you're like a 1 to 2 week swing trader, you're selling it back to 161.87. I don't have it labeled here, but 176.78 is right about here. Selling it within a couple of weeks, we could fall to 161.87. And as I've been saying, this upper 140s, low 150s in reach within possibly 3 to 5 weeks. Now, we haven't outright tested 176.78, but we've come pretty darn close. I think you would agree last week. And so these levels are in reach. I think I don't expect them. Let's get back to what I want to clarify that comment, really. And that is to say that we had this channel bottom, this steeply rising channel bottom, 3-4 week channel bottom that we broke on Tuesday, closed just below on Tuesday. But as you recall, it was too close to call to consider a sell signal down to 161.87. And so what happened Wednesday is we opened clearly back above it. It held the lows, 169.41 did. Intraday, soft intraday downward pivot point today, and 171.39 as a soft intraday upward pivot point. And I really don't want to call these a session containment level because volatility is still can reawaken at any time. And we're in this sort of intense point, I think, in time with respect to NVIDIA. I mean, we may well have put out a good high last week that could play out through the rest of the year, potentially.
If you're finding value in this analysis, it's only a glimpse of what we offer. Your real trading edge starts at wickedstocks.com. Each week, premium members receive 2 high-probability stock picks. Each one comes with a complete trade plan, including exact entry, profit target, stop loss, and regular updates so you can manage the trade with confidence. You'll also get daily video analysis in the top traded markets, the SPY, the Triple Q, and NVIDIA, highlighting the key price levels, trends, and trade setups we're focused on. Whether you're day trading or swing trading, these insights help you zero in on the highest quality opportunities with clarity. Try it all free for 5 days. Cancel at any time.
149.87 I think is actually realistic over the next month or two if we're not able to close above 176.78 tomorrow by that 1% margin. Until then, we rallied to within almost just over a dime of that 176.78 1% zone last week. And so let's get back to the downside here today. 161.87, is it in reach? I think it is potentially in reach if we break, especially if we open today below 169.41. I do think that the market is on its heels today, and the 161.87 level wouldn't surprise me by the closing bell if we break, especially open below 169.41. Inversely, if we push or open above 171.39, then we're back into the mid 170s as an intraday possibility. There will be these minor points on the way up that can snag, intraday activity for a period of time. But the 171.39, our upward pivot point, 176.78, not out of the question by the closing bell if we push above 171.39. And inversely, breaking or opening below 169.41, 161.87 wouldn't surprise me by the closing bell. 161.87 is a meaningful channel bottom in its own right. It is a 3-star weekly support, can absorb selling for the week, and from here we can round up within a week, 2 at the most, to the 176.78 area, which is right about here on the chart. If we close below 161.87 over the next few days, by the end of next week, we fall to 151.85 to 149.87. This zone is meaningful, what I'm going to call midterm support. If given the opportunity and you're short, it's an area to take good profits. It's also an area to aggressively buy the market. If you're a day trader, 3 to 5 day swing trader back to 161.87, and 3 to 5 week swing trader back into the upper 170s. That 176.78 is climbing weekly, and that becomes a realistic, 3 to 5 week objective if we fall into the upper 140s to lower 150s as shown here. Is there anything else to say besides the fact that I'd love for you to go to wickedstocks.com and check out our stock picks this week, one on Riot Platforms, the other on Lindy PLC. We've got several others that are just sort of hanging out and waiting to elicit a buy signal. The numbers change a little bit every week. We update you. We support you through the trade. We give you the objectives. We're always looking for a 20% move on those underlying stock picks. Check us out at wickedstocks.com. We offer it for free for 5 days, and you're not obliged to sign up and to become a regular subscriber. You may want to continue doing so after you've seen the quality of all of our work, where you'll also receive daily Triple Q, daily SPY analysis, and weekly Apple stock analysis, as well as 2 stock picks every week. I'm going to leave it at that for Thursday's NVIDIA report. You have a great day.